Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessler, my friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy Saturday, August 31st, 2024, the last day of the month. How about that? As we come together with our friends in the United Kingdom, as we turn our production time back from 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. Pacific to 2 p.m. Pacific, better known as 10 p.m. London time. On that note, let's go ahead and jump into the studio. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Good to have everybody here today. We've got a full audience. We've got an audience and we've got a panel. So that's all we need to get things going here. On that note, let's go ahead and strike up the drums if I could. I'm not running the application again. Welcome to live production, my friends. Gotta have fun with it. All right, here we go. Bit loud. There we go. Let's go ahead and welcome in our audience. Who do we have out there? Would you look at that? All the way from Ireland. It's Andrew Donnelly. Andrew Donnelly. Good to see you, Andrew. Andy W's here along with Avi M all the way from India. Good to see you, Avi. Love your posts and what you've been retweeting over on Twitter. Oh my gosh. Bob Lazar's here along with Joe Garrison. Craig Williams around along with Destiny Rocks. Eli McGinnis made it along with Fink Ploy. Ginger, Idaho Strong. J-Cat, Kathy, Kelly Brote, their piercing blue eyes. I see you, Kelly, but you don't see me yet, but I know you'll be here shortly. King Bull's around along with Jeff Garvey, J-Cat. Little Schism just popped in. Mr. Catfish 2100. Reality Check VIP. He is in the chat and he's in the back. Can't wait to see what Harold has for us to talk about today. Shelly Montgomery's around along with Niles Guy. Tia Loreno is in the back as well, along with Victoria Nance. The Nance is here. How about that? On that note, it's that time of the night, friends. Let's go ahead and see who we have in our back panel. Well, the first person whose picture we have up right now, go figure, is a remote viewing targeter, an extraordinary woman to say the absolute least. Let's welcome in Laura Campbell. How's it going, Laura?
Great, Thomas. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I hope I can live up to it.
Thank you. Easily, my dear lady. I didn't overstep any bounds on this one. Love how the hair looks today, by the way.
Why, thank you. It's a sloppy Saturday, so didn't really shower.
I hear you, my friend. I could not tell. No smell-o-vision yet these days. But thank you very much. Either way, Andy W. coming to us from Bristol, United Kingdom. How's it going, Andy?
Hey, Thomas. Yeah, not bad. Oh, sloppy Saturday. I like that. Yeah. I'm going to have to use that one.
Sloppy Saturdays are better than sloppy seconds.
So always a sloppy Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Friday. Yeah. Just about every day is a sloppy day for me, but hey.
Yeah, that's what you've got your hair pulled back.
I enjoy my looks, you know. I look after myself.
Yeah, you're going for more of the Gandalf kind of a look versus the Santa Claus, Dave Scott kind of a look. I like it.
Well, one of my friend's parents calls me, Trampy Santa. So, yeah.
Sloppy Saturdays with Trampy Santa.
Yeah. I'm happy with that. I've been called a
Oh, my God. We do call this Disclosure Tonight. That's a fact. Coming from the next person who's laughing, you can see his little emotes flying up the screen. Let's welcome in our dear friend, Hollywood Harold. Welcome to Sloppy Saturday Disclosure Tonight, Harold. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'll go with that because I feel kind of sloppy today, too.
Yeah. It's a sloppy day for news. We're going to be pulling stuff together. Jay, have you heard LUE Elizondo's book is #1 on the New York Times bestseller list?
I've seen it was #2 yesterday.
It's #1 from what I've seen, yeah.
Good deal. Good deal. He needs it. All the publicity we could get, right?
Oh, we've got a breaking news. We'll be covering that one shortly. Thank you for coming in today, Hollywood. Also in the back, a man coming from Auburn, Washington. Let's see if he says anything. Hello, Nick. How are you? Nope. We tried. Oh, Thomas. Good to see you, Nick. Also coming to
Thomas. Hello, Thomas.
Nick, you made it.
Here right now. Yes, I made it.
Thank you for coming in, my friend. Maybe if we have some time today, we'll play that legacy clip of the NASA whistleblower from 1993. Turning back the clocks of time. Thank you for coming in today, Nick. Also in the back, talking about Hollywood time. Well, actually, it's more of Los Angeles time. Let's welcome in our friend coming from Southern California, the place he ought to be, Faze Will. How's it going, Will?
Happy Saturday, Thomas. Good to see you. And
nice Hawaiian
yeah.
shirt, except you've got
Dude,
yours
you
buttoned.
Too. Yeah, you have a beautiful T-shirt, Hawaiian shirt too.
Yeah,
yeah, we met. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
When I saw it, it screamed Scooby-Doo. So I had to get it. Yeah.
Good to be here, Thomas. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, my friend. Sorry for stepping on you. Also in the back, someone who helped us out as a meeting host when I was getting ready for today's show. Let's welcome in our dear friend Syrup. How's it pouring, my friend?
Good afternoon, Thomas. No, it's going good. I look forward to today's show, man. Sloppy Saturday. I like
Sloppy Saturdays. You know, I guess if I put a couple holes in Barney's nose here, I could use this to pour the syrup, my friend.
There you go.
There you go. Good to have you here. And there you go, coming all the way from the East Coast. Let's welcome in Tia Loreno. How's it going, Tia?
Hey, Thomas. Happy to be here. I love that sloppy Saturday. We should keep that.
Yeah. I'll have to do the sloppy over to the side of Disclosure tonight. We'll make it work.
Yeah, sounds great.
Got to have fun with that. Yeah, thank you for coming in. Well, that we've got our audience, we've got our panel. That's a show, everybody. Thank you for coming in today for Sloppy Saturdays. No. We're beyond that. But, in breaking UFO news, LUE's book has actually hit #1 on the UFO sellers list. Let me bring up a screenshot of Eminent. Where's it at? Oh, wait a minute. This isn't the right book, but I'll go with it anyway. Inside Mom's Basement Hunt for a Real Job, Incompetent by Lou Angeles. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't know Lou had a book out there, too. How about that? I want to thank King Milkfart for this one. It's a good one. Inside joke, friends, but... Andy, thank you for sharing that one with me. It's brilliant.
My pleasure, my friend. Yeah, I thought it was hilarious, so yeah. Hey, it's okay, but hey, do I look like I care?
Exactly. This is one of these days I'm going to be going through my Twitter feed today to figure out what the hell we can be talking about, because we watched so many great videos and everything last night. Now, there is a new video of LUE Elizondo that came out, but we can't find it anywhere. Late last night, LUE is actually on CNN. It's not on Twitter yet. It's not on YouTube. It's nowhere. But I've seen screenshots coming from a television set over a fireplace, I believe. So we know it does exist. But as soon as we get it, we'll bring it out. Maybe during the show, maybe not. We'll see where it goes on that note. Let me see what I can do to get into my Twitter account. Let's go ahead and find some shit for us to talk about today. Actually, let me get into it from Brave, because Brave I can actually play audio and you'll be able to hear it. You get to x.com. Yeah, Brave is a great browser. If you don't use it, I highly recommend it. All right. A little bit of science news on this one. I actually followed someone on this one. If you're interested in the Aurora Borealis like I am, not the Aurora Borealis, but the Aurora Borealis, there's actually a new website you can go out there. And it's called, where is it at? Desktop document. It's called Aurorasaurus. Just as it's spelled, Aurorasaurus. Oh, I can't bring it up higher, can I? Aurorasaurus.org. AURORASAURUS.org. And let me go ahead and bring up what the heck it looks like here. It's actually... and the tour. It's actually a website that you can go to from your phone, especially. It's a wonderfully done mobile site that also scales up to desktop and allows you to, when you're seeing the Aurora Borealis, to go ahead and make a recent report so other people who live around you can understand. So you can understand what other people around you, what they're actually seeing. And this is actually, looks to be a little bit more friendlier than what we usually get from, if I go to solarham.com, bring it up. This is my enterprise console. It's a great place to go ahead and check up everything from the sun. Let me go ahead and get down here. If we take a look at what's happening, you can get a great idea of what's going on with the Aurora Oval. By going to solarham.com and just following the links, if we can finally get to it. Come on, NASA. You can get there. There you go. And they've got a video showing it. But this isn't always 100% accurate. You can see as it's flipping around right now, it's kind of going up again. It's a great place to go ahead and judge. Am I going to be in the Aurora Oval? Can I go outside and see the Aurora? But that's where between what you're seeing from NASA, also coming from Solar Ham and from Aurorasaurus, you should have the tools that are out there. I absolutely love it. I'm a science buff on this. Are you a science buff as well, Andy? Yes.
I was just looking at the page myself. Yes and no. I dip in now and again, but yeah, it's not something I follow regularly. Normally, when you bring up great sites like this, is when I might, and then I'll forget about them for 6 months, and I'll be in my browse, and it's like, oh, I remember that. Oh, so yeah.
This is one of those websites. I just shared a link in the chat if anyone wants to go ahead and grab it. Grab it, bookmark it, have it as one of your places. You can go ahead and check this out. The other place that I would also recommend big time is Solar Ham. I know Solar Ham. It's for ham radios, not people who like to eat ham, although I do like to eat ham. This is a great place to see what's going on with the sun at any given time. It's got a lot of great graphics and everything into it. So I know we're off the topic from UFOs. We'll get there shortly. But you know what? This is on the top of my list of some of the stuff that was actually in my Twitter feed. Let me get back off of this one, see where we can go. Yeah, it's one of those Twitter days. We covered a lot of videos last night. Were there any of your favorites you'd want us to replay, Andy? Or should we? I think we should kind of move on from those.
Yeah, we've dealt with them. You know, if we get a bit skinny on the ground, maybe if anybody wants to see anything highlighted. But yeah, let's move on for now, and then we can always revisit another time.
Well, you've heard of the Wilson Davis memos in the past.
Yeah.
Apparently, Eric Davis has been in a Twitter DM conversation. And some information on this came out, and he's left the group recently, but people have taken screenshots for posterity. So let's go ahead and take a look here, and I want to go ahead and cover what specifically has been said. So with Eric Davis publicly confirming the authenticity of the Eric Wilson Davis, or the Eric Wilson EWD notes, let's examine his comments regarding Grush earlier this year. Quote, I interacted with Dave Grush from 2020 to 2022 as part of my job. I was one of his classified IG whistleblower complaint witnesses, so we have Eric Davis now confirming he's one of the 40 that was brought out by Grush. Witnesses because he got breadcrumbs from me and a close colleague, one can assume Hal Putoff, on where to find the UAP crash retrieval program. So Dave Grush heard no rumors. He used his access to the special security system to locate and talk to the industry crash retrieval program personnel face to face. Now, when Davis uses the wording breadcrumbs, one can make an educated guess that he disclosed his interview with Thomas Wilson in the early 2000s, Grush, being an inquisitive intelligence officer, which David discussed a specific point on Joe Rogan, then realized Lockheed Martin, referenced in the Wilson Davis notes, is handling non-human intelligence hardware. Grush is then able to locate the program, or at least a key element of the program, and starts interviewing first-hand witnesses with his security access. There's a likely possibility I'm way off on how this specific chain of events went down, but I'm willing to bet some gambling money that Davis did discuss his meeting in Las Vegas with Thomas Wilson while interacting with David Grush from 2020 to 2022. Interesting, to say the least. It's always great to get these little tidbits to go ahead and connect the dots. One little dot I want to go ahead and connect out there. In the past, Andy, I have talked with David Grush. It was in a Zoom call that we had. I didn't find out any inside information from Dave. All the information, other than David is a good guy. He's really important, and we need to watch out for him. Had an interesting conversation about him, some things that happened, unfortunately, that he's also disclosed that happened in his house. But that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. There are a bunch of disinformation agents out there by the name of Chupacabra, by the name of Red Panda Koala, believe it or not, even by the name of LM, who are taking and spinning all of this up and just fabricating information that is beyond the truth. Now, these people are going after LUE Elizondo. They're going after anyone credible. So am I surprised they're coming at me again? No, they're going to keep on doing it. They're going to keep on pushing stuff out. And it's just one of those things that's a sad state. But you know what? The truth is the truth. And I don't think I've ever mentioned that before here on Disclosure Tonight, have I, Andy?
Hopefully I'm not going to deafen everybody because they say I'm having problems with me microphone. But no, I don't think you have.
Yeah. It's one of those things you have to go through and understand. Tia, you have your hand up, my dear lady?
So that kind of happens when you start to become more
Connected?
public, Thomas. So take it as a compliment.
Oh, yeah.
That these losers are talking shit because that's all they got. And
When I had a death threat and LUE Elizondo had a death threat against us coming from, I believe it was Jeremy Rice from, what do you call it, the alien scientist guy. One of the things Lou had said at that time was that the bigger you get, the more of a target you become. That he's had threats like that against him on a regular basis. I've had it many times. It's just one of those things. There's no sound in the back chat? Something? Oh, there's no sound in the back chat for anybody? Really? Go ahead and say something, Tia. No, there's...
I can hear everyone.
Okay, no, people were saying this, maybe the sound for the back chat was too quiet. I've raised it up a bit. Sorry about that if it was too quiet. Give it a sound check again. Paul Frederick said it's really
you guys
low.
hear me?
We
Do I
got it
sound
now.
better?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, they were bullies to begin with. And they're going to be bullies out there. They're not going to last long. People are not going to gravitate towards, not real people anyways, people that want something of substance.
Yep.
They're not going to gravitate towards them. Like I said, I watched Lou's show like twice and I literally could not go back because my anxiety, I wanted to just shake him through the computer. So real people that are looking for real evidence-based substance are not going to, you know, they're just not going to. They're going to come here like they have been.
Yep.
So
that's one of the things.
I'm sorry you have to deal with that, Thomas, because you're a wonderful person. But...
Oh, I know. I'm a great guy. Lou's a great guy. Grush is a great guy. There's a lot of people, and I hate to go ahead and put my name in there with those outstanding gentlemen, but we try to do our best here at Disclosure Tonight.
Yeah, but you are an outstanding gentleman, just like they are.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am.
You're welcome. That's okay. Both is better than none, right?
Exactly. I love the glasses, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Now, where am I at here? I've got other stuff to go ahead and bring up away from that one post. Let's move on to what I've got here. I've got a bunch of info on... Oh, David. Oh, nope. Let's move on from this one. Oh, this one. Oh, this one's funny. I can't play the audio. Have you seen the new Alien movie yet, Tia? I haven't seen it. I can't wait for it to finally come to...
I have not seen it.
I heard it's really good.
Actually,
I heard it's really good. But here we've got someone who's got a monster coming out through their shirt. It's a chihuahua. And she's dead. Chucky style. I know I'm going through my Twitter feed today, but sometimes, Tia, as I'm going through yeah, I do have...
That's that husky.
What the hell is that? No, it's not an alien. It's a husky.
I love that husky.
It's gonna set off the dogs here. Yes, I've got a good Twitter feed. You gotta have fun with it. It's just one of those slow days. Now, I do have something up here from a document. If I can figure out where the hell did I put it? Here it is. Okay. You're on the East Coast, right?
I am.
Are you near Long Island by chance?
About 3 hours from me.
3 hours, all right. So earlier this week, a 10-month long. Let me get this one out of here so I can talk about this. I can bring up some pictures here besides just my face flapping along in the breeze. All right. Let's see if I can bring this up so everybody can see what I'm talking about. Desktop document. All right. Believe it or not, there was a 10-month study of UAP that took place off of Long Island. That's in New York, isn't it?
It is.
How about that? So, the Eye on the Sky UAP research and field study off of New York's Long Island coast. The study documented reoccurring luminous spheroids with extreme velocities and stationary behavior. These objects often appeared outside of the visible spectrum, detectable mainly by infrared, which is not your typical aircraft or natural phenomenon. Using night vision and multispectral devices, kind of like the Psionics Aurora, the team discovered anomalous transient light phenomena. They're calling it ATLP, believe it or not. These were undetectable by conventional means, further challenging the limits of what we consider normal air traffic. Let's see if I can get down to show kind of where specifically this was happening. You can see off of Long Island where they were seeing some of these things from, and a lot of the observation sites along the way. Key observations. They had luminous spheres from 1.5 to 3 meters in diameter, which is like not up to 9 feet across, right? Because it's almost like 3 feet to a meter. I think it's almost like a yard. Exhibited extreme velocities and stationary periods, often undetectable in visible light, primarily observed in infrared, especially short-wave infrared. Hollywood, you have your hand up, my friend?
I'm just wondering if there's any nuclear facilities around these sightings and stuff, because New York has a lot of nuclear facilities.
Oh, search it. Google it. Use those monitors. Let me know.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that in the background.
Thank you. So behavioral. So what are we looking at here? So this is kind of showing potentially where some of the objects we're seeing. Looks like there's an airport there. That's a fact. All right. So aerial figure 2 is an aerial view of Robert Moses State Park on the Fire Island. That's why they're there. They're there for Fire Island. They're there for a good time or to watch a good time happening.
They've had stuff up there going on forever. People have been talking about it up there. So I'm glad that this came out.
Yeah. Oh, I am too. Photo 2 is an air view. We're looking at Robert Moses State Park on the screen right now, situated in the southernmost point of Long Island on a barrier island called Fire Island on the National Seashore. For those who don't know where Fire Island is, it's where all the rainbow flag people go ahead and hang out and have fun in the sun. Clothing optional, I believe, right, Tia?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 3-hour trip you won't forget.
No, it's not.
Andy, you had your hand up, my friend.
Things going in and out of the sea forever.
And that's not the only thing that's going in and out up there as well. Andy, you had your hand up, my friend?
No, that's all right. Don't worry, mate.
All right. So, what are the behavioral... Let's see if I can get down early discoveries, and we'll get down to the details. I'm trying to find some pictures so we can go ahead and bring up. All right, we got a picture here of something here. 2 identified objects. This is a still image taken from an RMSP in the direction of a western sky at night. So they're shooting off of Fire Island, past all the extracurricular activities, out towards the ocean. The arrows identify 2 distant objects. The lower object displays motion. The object at the higher elevation is stationary. So what are they talking about here? They're talking about fluctuating brightness. They have rotation and glinting effects. They have a swarm-like behavior. They have intelligent interaction between the craft. There is, they believe it's a non-physical mast. They're variable in luminosity. They also transitions between luminous and non-luminous states. Now remember, these craft cannot be seen by the human eye, they're hiding from us. And if they were peaceful and they were honest about what's going on, they wouldn't be hiding from us. Harold?
Yeah, I'm just looking around at maps here and stuff. I see Brookhaven, a big scientific institute. That's right there on Long Island. I wonder if that's got anything to do with the Brookhaven National Laboratory.
Yeah, okay. But this is out on Fire Island. How far is Fire Island from Brookhaven?
I don't know. This map's kind of selective here that I'm looking at. It doesn't really have a lot of detail on
Ask ChatGPT.
Yeah, I'm bad.
Don't worry about it. Let's move on. So they, what else? Instrumental findings. What did they find on the instruments on these things? Here's a close-up of some of the objects. That just looks stellar. That, actually, that is a magnified view of an airliner. Let's move on. It wasn't Venus, because everyone always says it's Venus. It clearly wasn't Venus. And these are some of these Starvis low-light planetary cameras that were actually being used for picking this up. What is Starvis? Starvis is a sensor specifically created by Sony to handle low light. It's primarily used for security applications, but a lot of different people have taken and adapted this Starvis sensor for use for telescopes and other optical gear for checking out the elements in the sky. So what are the instrumented findings on these things? They have low heat signatures. They have a radar cross-section that's variable. They produce electromagnetic interference. They produce ultrasonic signal anomalies. And there was also detected correlations between electromagnetic field measurements and ultrasonic signals during sightings. That is a new one. That is a new finding we haven't heard before, to where there's also ultrasonic. Tim Senor, if you're watching, join in on this one. This is amazing because it gives us yet another spectrum that we're able to look for and listen in with ultrasonic, for that matter. It's not just a toothbrush, apparently. I wonder if they're brushing their teeth. Do aliens have teeth? I don't think so. You never know. What kind of instruments, besides these cameras, did they deploy? So really quick, this is kind of what a normal camera can do. This is what a Starvis camera can kind of do. It can kind of see things in the dark with infrared and other pieces. That is another thermal camera, model OTS-4T for thermal imaging camera. Unfortunately, most of the thermal imaging cameras only have a 640 by 480 sensor. And why? Because you need really big pixels. And if you go beyond that, you're going to be dealing with a really large system. Too large to deal with, and it also has 40 times more magnification. This is what a 737 actually looks like coming from one of those thermal cameras. All right, let's jump into documents. Solo. There we go. Don't need Visto up on the screen right now. What else are we talking about? So what kind of instruments were deployed? What kind of instruments were deployed? All right, X-band radar with a 3-centimeter wavelength. Multispectral electromechanical cameras, hyperspectral cameras, high magnification telescopic cameras, a Sony IMX-462 and IMX-991 Starvis sensors. Those are the Sony Starvis sensors we talked about. Oh, and I've got a video. Hey, Hollywood. I've got a video here from Steve Barone. Remind me to cover it after this one. It will blow everyone's mind, honestly.
All right. I see he had some kind of a red orb that shut down one of his cameras the other day too.
Oh, this is better than that. This is this looks fractal. Not fractal. It looks crystalline. It looks crystalline. Why don't you look at that? We got a super chat coming in from FaZe Will. Thank you very much, FaZe Will. I appreciate your love and support for everything we do here at Disclosure tonight. If I can ever find my chat window, I will be happy to go ahead and bring that up and show it on the air. There you go. FaZe Will, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate the support. All right, let's get back to this. What else do they have out there? So they had forward-looking infrared cameras, also known as FLIR. They had EM field detectors and spectrum analyzers. They had ultrasonic and acoustic transducers. Another super chat from Faisal coming in. This one for $4.99. Holy cow. Oh, it's Charo's back. They also had Geiger counters and semiconductor diode sensors. And they had a marine traffic app to figure out, is there any marine traffic that could be going ahead and dealing with this? Holy cow. They had a bunch of stuff. The findings suggest the possibility of an origin beyond our current understanding. Let's look at, again, this is thermal, lower resolution, 30 times magnification, 25 times magnification against. These sensors that they have for FLIR and other things are low resolution. Why? Because they need big pixels on these sensors to be able to pick stuff up and be able to show it. So, over 10 months, this team wasn't just looking up at the sky. They were collecting hard data, radar, infrared, electromagnetic signals, and more. This isn't hearsay or speculation. Let's see if I can get down. Wrong window. We can get some more pictures up here to show as we're talking about this stuff. Stuff about, oh, look at that. That is what I call one heck of an RV. Look at all the sensors they have on that thing. Now, where was I at? Let's get back up to here. Over 10 months, this team wasn't just looking up at the sky. They were collecting hard data, radar, infrared, electromagnetic signals, and more. This isn't hearsay or speculation. It's evidence grounded in science. Where's the evidence? This study is a clear example. Of what's happening. The full study is available in the Open Journal of Applied Sciences. It calls for further rigorous scientific investigation into these unexplained phenomena. For our friends in the chat who are watching the show right now or watching this on replay, I need to go ahead and find the right window. There it is. I'm going to place this in the chat for anyone who wants to go ahead and see it with the preface of study link. There you go. Now, one of the things we've heard recently that the truth about and the proof about UAP is not going to be coming from our federal government, but it's going to be coming from independent scientists. And I think it's like scientists that we're seeing within who are equipping this with, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars of technology in addition to the cost of the vehicle to put this together. This is where we're going to get the proof from. We're not going to get the proof from the government. And the best thing about it is we're talking about proof of the non-human intelligence that's not coming over military bases. It's coming over regular airspace. And that's the biggest thing I've been bringing out and saying, I don't care about what's happening over your military airspace. Yes, those in the military used to be. As a normal citizen, Andy, I am concerned about what's going over my head. What are they doing to my friends, my relatives? Your children, your family, what's going on in the skies? Why are they not reporting on anything, Andy, that's going over the general population? For me, that seems like it's the biggest cover-up. Plus, you've had your hand up.
Yeah, we're oh, I'm getting a bit of feedback here. We seem to be superfluous, don't we? You know, we're the military are all the ones that are going to be the ones that get whatever attacked, whatever you like. You know,
attacked, probed, kidnapped, taken away without your consent or your will, being put into a state of mind where you don't remember all this stuff, your mind being wiped, like a roofie, kind of. Any of that kind of stuff, if it was done by a human, that would be something bad that the government would usually get involved in. But if it's involved within the non-human intelligence, they want to cover it up.
Oh, definitely. You know, I was looking at, you know, the images you showed that they've taken with these cameras. You know, that's the sort of cameras we need people out there with. You know, they're probably very expensive, but the quality of the image, you could tell these were, you know, man-made aircraft. You could see the lifting surfaces. You could see the engines. You know, I've got a couple of these, night vision cameras. They're not very good on their image quality.
No.
You've got to spend a lot of money. You've got the likes of Tim Senior. We've got Tom King are out there, and there are others. But there's so many in the field. If Dr. Segala, what he was created his. I forget what the name of his system was. We need an operating system.
MUPAS, that stood for MUPAS, yes.
We need the likes of people like me, people like Laura, people like, everybody in chat to have a way of getting a cheap system that's really good quality.
Right.
It'll probably never work. So we've got so many eyes out there that, we all can't be spending our time staring out at the stars. But, every one of us in our own little way, in our own little part of that world, if we got, even 10 minutes to go and look outside with one of these systems,
right.
It really will open up. I've not had the time to go and do anything at the moment. I'd love to get out there and get my, my 2 cameras out and start looking at the skies.
Yeah. And it just comes down to time, and it's knowing you're going to be looking for stuff that you normally can't see with your eyes. So it's a matter of getting the right technology. Another person whose name you didn't bring up, who I want to go ahead and spotlight, it's Dave Mason. He was part of the original UAPX group before that whole thing blew up. He brought out close to $1 million worth of technology specifically for that. And hearing how they're sounding, detecting stuff from ultrasonic and other waves, for me, that is it's exciting news because it's giving us more and more ways that we're able to determine and detect the craft that are hiding from us. They are specifically hiding from our vision because they know where the visual spectrum is from humans, and they're operating in our skies in a way that the average person without all this advanced technology is going to be able to detect them. They're not being forward. They're not being friendly. They're being, I can't even think of the word how to describe it, but they're being sneaky in this situation. They're being very reticent of letting people know what they're doing. And you know what? If they're doing good things, they shouldn't worry about it. But if they're doing something bad, potentially, they're going to hide what's going on.
It's very clandestine, isn't it? They're showing themselves. They seem to show themselves when they want to, but majority of the time, we hear of these craft being cloaked. We hear of, abductions, dare I say the word, for the algorithm. There's just so much that's slightly off, I'll say.
Yeah.
We don't know what their intentions are. Like you say, if they were ultimately good, harking back to a certain person.
They're lurking in the shadows. They're watching us from afar. They're surveilling us. Yeah. They're going about their particular, whatever they're doing in the sky, and they're doing it in a way to be evasive of anyone who would be a normal person to understand what's going on in the skies around us. And from, what's missing from this, Andy, is we didn't get the letter out the next day coming from the head of ARO, or the former head of ARO, Sean Kirkpatrick, trying to take this information and debunk it and throw it under the bus, just like they did from all those results that were coming out of Ukraine, because they know they could. I'm surprised we haven't seen a paper yet from Avi Loeb or a letter from Avi Loeb back to these scientists trying to discredit them for the observations that they're making. Because honestly, you know what they're doing here? They're scooping the project. What is it called again? From Avi Loeb.
Galileo.
They're scooping the Galileo project, because what are we, for all that money that was donated, all that money that Avi Loeb put into the Galileo project, what have we heard from Avi Loeb at all?
And I've noticed he's been, very quiet lately. And now his friend has moved on to pastures new. But I just want to hark back to Dave Mason and again, Tom King and Tim Senior. Absolutely commendable what them and the likes of them are doing. But to me, it's as though they've got one of these pinhole cameras, you know, you're looking at that tiny little speck of sky. Just, you know, a handful of people doing this that are very fortunate to have the equipment and the time. You know, we need more eyes out there. The more information we bring out, you know, the more people looking at the skies and capturing these objects. One day we will hit the mother lode.
It's important for us to go outside and look up, but not just look up. We have to look up with the gear that actually allows us to see the stuff. I mean, I have a regular UAP alleyway or thoroughfare that goes right in front of my house. Apparently, I need to start looking out there a lot more often with my psionics to see how much more often are they going through here and not showing themselves.
I think a lot more than, you know, they're transiting through far more than you're actually catching your eyes on them. Because you can go out inside and look up, you know, but you know, 9 times out of 10 you'll never ever see them, whether they're not there or they're traveling, you know, stealth mode. I'd say hidden.
Yeah. Now I do have to bring up. There was a tweet I had out there earlier today that I saw. It was something coming from, let's see if I can find it here. Let me get into here. Let me look for the tweets from me. I've got a tweet that I put out there earlier today. Oh, not that one. Okay. If you remember, we had some research that was brought out by LM in the past with regarding the Monsanto. And in retrospect, we're looking at an elementary school level report that we were given from LM. Now, this is some real research, real information that's coming out from Tiny Klaus. Now, this is about Monsanto, but there's a really interesting bit here that the elementary school guy did not pick up on. The Scientific Engineering Institute was a CIA cutout that researched remote viewing, mind control, and gene splintering. SEI eventually became a subsidiary of the company GD Cyril, which was then sold to Monsanto in 1985 in a deal facilitated, I think Donald Rumsfeld was the Secretary of Defense at that time, wasn't he? I think he was. So here we know, LUE Elizondo was said with Monsanto, there's a there. There's something that happened with Monsanto that gets into the crash retrieval program, biologics, etc. So what we've got here is literal proof of a drug company, GD Cyril, who was dealing with gene splintering back in the day that was sold to Monsanto and brought into their conglomerate. Andy?
So, question arises in my brain: what is gene splintering? We've heard of gene splicing, you know. So you're splicing genes together. Gene splintering. That sounds.
Give me a second.
That sounds more of a weaponization. It sounds like something they would do to cause damage. You're splintering the genes. You know, that sounds quite exceedingly nefarious to me.
Okay. Gene splintering. Oh, here we go. This is a long one. But I've got an answer. Gene splintering, as defined by GD Cyril, is a concept from Cyril's writings that refers to the idea that a single gene can give rise to multiple different proteins or functions depending on how it's processed within a cell. This concept is closely related to what is more broadly known as in genetics as alternative splicing. Alternative splicing is a process during gene expression that allows a single gene. Let me bring this up so everyone can see what the heck I'm reading from here. Yes, I went to OpenAI, ChatGPT to get an answer on this because, you deserve an answer on this that's actually realistic. So bring this across a little bit more. All right. Alternative splicing is a process during gene expressions that allows a single gene to code for multiple proteins. In this process, different combinations of exons, which is the coding sequences of DNA, are joined together. or some exons are skipped to create different mRNA transcripts from the DNA sequence. This different mRNA transcripts can be translated into different protein variants, each with potentially different functions. The term gene splintering emphasizes the idea that the gene's influence is not monolithic or singular, but is instead divided or splintered into various outcomes depending on the cellular context, signaling pathways, or developmental stages. G.D. Searle's work on this topic often ties to discussions of genetic complexity, evolutionary biology, and the flexibility of the genetic code in producing a diverse array of biological functions from a limited set of genetic instructions. Oh, that's interesting. So one set of genetic instructions could potentially, Andy, have multiple outcomes depending on the expression. Usually we hear about genetics and what comes out of it and DNA and everything, and one thing being replicated. This is about saying this one particular genetic expression can be splintered into different outputs. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so, Terence Wills in chat said the Chimera project. So basically, you could, it's like rolling the dice to me. You're gonna splinter these genes to potentially create something, and you roll a 6, you get one entity come out. You roll a 2, you get something else. Dark and quite serious.
And this can also go to the quote of Lue Elizondo, who once said there is no such thing as junk DNA.
Yeah, are they know what DNA we have in our make up what we are. Do they know how to potentially, they know how to chop out genes and get rid of life threatening conditions. In babies that are yet to be born, you can what do they call them? Like I forget what the termination is for them, but say you've got cystic fibrosis in the family. I know somebody who has it in their family, and they've produced a child, and that child has cystic fibrosis. If they'd known prior that they had this condition, they could have gone and had the genes played about with, and they could have taken the faulty gene sequence out. Quite potentially dark and dangerous. It could have some very good things that come from it, but on the other hand, we're getting into sort of stuff that was dealt with in a certain European country in the 30s. Potentially.
You mean Germany?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But, I have to bring this out. I am happy to bring it out, and maybe you'll get an idea what it is once you hear it. I do have a breaking UFOs alert coming here on Disclosure tonight. I have just finally located. Oh, Jesus, I need to get to this tweet here. I need to get back to Brave. I have just located the video of Lue Elizondo talking live on CNN, or talking on CNN. It's only a 1-minute clip, but you know what? I will take it. It's better than nothing. Let's go ahead and see at least this 1-minute clip. It's coming from archive.org, and let's go ahead and play this of Lue Elizondo on CNN. Let's see what we have here. Again, this is just a portion of the interview, but it's something I said we're trying to find, and I just found a link to part of it. Let me get this up here, video full guest. Let's play this because it's a small clip here, Andy. Oh, shit. No, not there. Here we go. Let's play it.
Possession of biological remains of non-human origin. He also describes personal encounters with an unidentified anomalous phenomena, also known as UAP. Luis Elizondo joins me now. How unbelievably exciting. Everyone is almost hitting their televisions with trying to lean in on this moment. I mean, you have written that the U.S. government has been operating a decades-long, I got to read this, crash retrieval program for these UAP, that biological remains of non-human origin have been found. Are you telling me that aliens are real?
Well, what I'm saying, Laura, first of all, thank you very much for having me on your show. What I'm saying is that we have something that is made by non-humans. So whatever that means, right? We're talking about aliens in the vernacular sense, or are we talking about something that's been here all along? There's a lot of options. We're just now at the point as a nation, as a country.
And that's the end of it. We've got a teaser of it, Andy. But you know what? I said I was going to go ahead and cover it if I could find it, and it just showed up in my Twitter feed. I wish we had more. And as soon as we find more, we will bring it out, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know if has this been aired already, or is this? It must have been. Anybody out there who's got
this was aired last night at around 11:30 p.m. Eastern, which would have been 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. From you, it would have been 11:30 plus 6 hour plus 5 hours. It would have been around 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, if anybody caught this, anybody's got any footage of it,
please share it.
Thomas's email link is in the down here with the chat. Send it to Thomas, please. Yeah. We need to get a hold of this because, if it's not showing up at the moment, hopefully we'll get it in by the next show. You know, hopefully by Monday, Thomas will have a copy of it. Yes, it's all very interesting. You know, I'm partway through his book at the moment, and there are some interesting things that I don't think he's brought up, but I need to get through it and then go back through and reassess.
Oh, yeah. We all need to, but it's one of those things we just have to go ahead and take a look at. And it's something I had heard about the LUE Elizondo interview that was supposed to be happening last weekend, and it didn't happen. So I'm glad to see that actually the interview did come forward with regards to that situation. So now I do have a 4-minute clip of John Lear speaking on his first UFO lecture at Spring Valley, Las Vegas in 1988. I know this is a while back, but you know who John Lear is, right? You've heard of a Lear jet before? The guy knows his stuff.
It was his father that created the Lear jet, wasn't it? But John Lear he's broken a lot of airspeed records, and he was quite an interesting individual.
Yes.
Lived a far more interesting life than I ever have.
Absolutely. On this note, I have a little 4-minute clip I want to go ahead and play for posterity and for us to look back in time. Let's see if I can find the old television set on this one, desktop TV. There we go. Let's bring up the old television set. Let's bring this up, and I don't even think I need the fair use. Let me get rid of the fair use at the top of this. Fair use, shut that down. Let's go ahead and play this old clip on our old television set and see what John Lear, actually I can, let's just play it. Here we go.
I tell you tonight is true beyond a shadow of a doubt, but it's not important that you believe it now. Just listen, file away. In the next few months, maybe even years, you'll wake up one fine day and say to yourself, the son of a gun was right. Of course, by then it'll be far too late.
Well, more like the son of a bitch is right.
So here's the bottom line. Listen up. Number one, the United States government, since July 7th, 1947, has collected and has in its possession at least 15, but probably closer to 25 flying saucers belonging to alien civilizations from far beyond our solar system. At least 3 were undamaged, and the Air Force has tried to fly at least one of them under a secret program begun in 1972 and continuing to this date at the Nevada test site and Kwajalein Island in the Pacific. Number 2, the United States government has in cryogenic storage at least 30, but maybe closer to 100 alien bodies representing as many as 3 different civilizations from far beyond our solar system.
3, but as many as 100 in deep freeze.
The bodies were or are kept at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Homestead Air Force Bases.
Now, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is the home city and location for What's his name again? Oh God, my mind's blanking again. The representative from the
Turner.
Yeah, Mike Turner from the House of Representatives, who was blocking anything to deal with the UAP Disclosure Act. Yeah, I need to start my Adderall again. But my heart doesn't like it, my blood pressure doesn't like it, but my mind does.
Base, and there was an alien corpse display at the CIA facility at Langley. At least 3 aliens were captured alive, and 1 is still living at Los Alamos, New Mexico. Their nomenclature or names, they were called EBEs, extraterrestrial biological entities. They were named that by Dr. Detlef Bronk, 6th president of the Johns Hopkins University, who was one of the original MJ-12s. So they called them EBEs, and the ones that they captured were in consecutive order: EBE-1, EBE-2, EBE-3. EBE-1 was captured in 1949, died in 1952, lived with an Air Force colonel. I don't know about EBE-2, EBE-3. I don't know when he was captured, but he's still alive. Number 3, at least 1 million Americans, and probably far more, have been abducted since the early 1940s. These abductions last about 2 hours and are carried out for 3 purposes. The first is to insert a tiny transmitter the size of a BB into the brain of the subject in order to monitor certain biological functions, the specifics of which are
which Ted Rowe has actually talked about in the past. He talked about having something that looked like a knitting needle. When he was paralyzed, couldn't move, and a non-human intelligence hand holding his face in place, and then something went around his eye, crushed through the back of his eye socket, and put something into his brain.
Unknown to us at this time. The transmitters are implanted at the human beings at about the age of 4 or 5. They are picked up again and checked at about 12 or 13, and about the age of 18, the implant is sometimes removed. Some of you have seen that book, Communion, written by Whitley Strieber. It tells a very fascinating story. He was at the World Life Expo down there in Los Angeles about 6 weeks ago, and he carries around his x-rays with his implants in there, signed by his doctor, 2 unidentified 3mm spherical objects in his brain. The second purpose of the abductions is to program the individual through post-hypnotic suggestion. On the basis of over 300 cases we've discovered so far, we now know that some sort of enormously important event may occur in the next 1 to 4 years, and the abductees have been post-hypnotically programmed to proceed to a certain place and perform a certain function during that event. In some cases, the abductees have been shown what appears to be similar to a little TV channel changer, and advised that at the proper time they will remember what the unit is for and how to work it. Under our best hypnotic techniques, we are unable to find out when or what. There is evidence that the third reason for the abductions is interbreeding or crossbreeding experiments where we have been crossbred with the aliens. In his book Intruders, Bud Hopkins tells about his 2.5-year investigation of Kathy Davis of Indianapolis, who was inseminated by aliens and produced 7 crossbreeds. Number 4, during the...
Really quick, I just want to throw this out here before we get to the end of this. If there are hybrids on this planet, Andy, you want to see one? Hello? Go look into a mirror, you'll see another one. We are the hybrids.
Past 13 years, over 14,000 cattle throughout the U.S., Canada, and South America have been mutilated in a completely grotesque manner. The mutilations have been investigated by many state and federal agencies, including the FBI.
There you go. Your thoughts, Andy?
If I can find my mute button. Yeah, something that I found really interesting that he brought up there. He said the size of the implants, said they were about the size of a BB, so, BB pellet. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm really happy to be corrected if I am, but Lou brought up the image of the potential implant, didn't he? He brought up a photo of an implant in a Petri dish.
Yeah.
No. Am I right or am I wrong? Did
that was bigger than a BB? That was much
with the biological material on it. probably was.
That was more like a capsule shape, meaning it was something a little bit longer, they were saying, and it had a couple antennas coming out of it. It doesn't matter. We're still talking about the same thing. We're down to a matter of semantics. What they were saying back in the early 90s compared to what we're saying now.
Yeah. Some interesting stuff that you brought up. I'm interested in anybody else's thoughts on it, to be honest. Anybody else in the panel?
Yeah. Harold, you're in the chat. You said a grain of rice sized. Correct, Harold?
Yeah, that's probably about half of the stuff I've seen on. That's about what it is, about the size of a grain of rice and stuff. And it's covered by some kind of a cartilage sheet or something, man. It has some kind of neutral enzymes.
Hey, Harold, really quick. That picture is one of the ones that was used when I had a death threat against me. Please don't use it on the show.
All right, I'll take it off there. I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
You were
That's
just
all
talking
right.
about earlier. And
That
stuff.
one goes back a little bit in time, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's when that picture was actually used when I had a death threat from alien scientist on Twitter.
All right, yeah, I'm sorry about that, Thomas.
Not a problem, my friend. I just saw it, and it's like, oh, bite my lip on that one. All right, where are we at? So, we've got. Is this an old video here? We're not going to get into Representative Timber chat about that one. We've got that one we covered on Ross Colhart yesterday. We got some Huskies. This is an interesting one coming from Massimo. Something that's out there that's saying it's called sonoluminescence. If you collapse a underwater bubble with a sound wave, light is produced. And nobody can tell exactly why this happens. Boom. You see that little flash that goes on? That's when we're compressing a bubble of air underwater with sound. It produces light. This is a reaction science has no explanation for. But it's one of those things you just have to scratch your head and say, you know what? There's water all around us. We're made primarily up of water. What the hell is this? One of those
I'm going to
things.
say that's really interesting, Thomas, because you don't know how big that bubble is, but that's quite a large amount of light getting thrown off of there. You know, it's for that split second, it's really, really bright.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's really
Anyway,
bright, and it goes off in 4 directions. Talking about going off in 4 directions. Somewhere on this machine, I need to find out where the hell I put it. Where are downloads, Google? Where did I put them on my machine? Let's go to downloads. I need to go to... Oh, I've got a video that I brought up yesterday. Let's see if I can bring this up on QuickTime. I got a really, really phenomenal video that came in from Open Recent. Let me find this here. No garage. I'm trying to find it. I've got a video here that I got from... Here we go. Got it. Bingo. Okay. So this is a video that I received from... what's his name again? Steve Barone. And in this video, there's something, a UFO going on, Harold, that I've never seen anything like this before. Let me go ahead and zoom in on this. Oh, I need let me plug this in. Hold on.
His channel forever, Thomas. He's got a lot of good stuff. All the stuff he's got, man, is absolutely 100%.
No, this is Harold. This is different. Sorry if I'm touchpad.
I would give anything to live in his neighborhood, man. I would saturate the air with this stuff somehow, man. I don't know why he doesn't have a bigger audience. People pay attention.
He thinks he's getting shadow banned. We'll have to figure on that one eventually. Oh, there we go. So I'm gonna screw with my video capture that I've got here. I may screw with the back a bit. What we've got here is, let me get this to make this a little bit more visible for our audience. Let me get to desktop video full. Here we go. And I want to bring this up here. And I want to go to the video here that I've got. I'm going to go to filters. And I'm going to add in a filter for color correction. And I'm going to make this a little bit darker. But I'm also going to push up the contrast. You can kind of see something. And I'm going to throw up the saturation a bit. And that's all I'm doing to this image. And what we've got here is, you can see right in the distance right here. I know it's going to be hard for some people to go ahead and see. There is a cross-shaped structure that's going across the screen. Can you see it there? As it comes around and goes around. Can you see that, Harold?
Yeah, looks like it's kind of spinning on its axis or something, isn't it?
No, it's not spinning on its axis. It's right here. It's vertical, right?
Does it have a ring around it?
And it's horizontal. Watch this thing.
It's got a ring around it.
No, it's no ring. Look at this. It's...
Wow. I haven't seen anything like that before.
Yeah, this is something that Steve Barone put out there, and he called me on this one and said, Thomas, I've got something here that is just freaking amazing. And it's not a ring spinning. If you look at it, it almost looks like you've got a line going from here to here to here back, almost like it's I'm calling it fractal, but it's more like a crystalline structure of what we're potentially seeing. Let me go ahead and then just take down the auto chat on this right now. Let me bring it up a little bit.
It's real, man. They had an episode on Star Trek about a crystal entity.
I know. And look at this thing. This is just, and it's going to get brighter and brighter as it comes in. There we go. Look at this thing. And it's going to, when it gets closer, you're going to see a detail. There we go. There's a detail of it right there. You can see the left side of the craft. You can see almost like it's a cross going across here, going there, but it's like a kite kind of. Look at that thing.
Like two triangular areas kind of fused together there, doesn't it? Like two.
It looks like it's a
pyramidal diamond shape.
Like a diamond shaped, yes. And Steve has never seen anything like this ever before in the past. And we could say this is light refracting, but the thing is, whatever this is, it goes all the way back in the distance, and it does it's coming this way, it does a 90-degree turn and comes at the camera. Let's go back to the start of it.
I like this when you turn that one angle there, you can see all the blue lines that go up and down vertically.
Can you see where I've got it in the upper right-hand corner of the screen where it makes a net 90-degree turn?
Yeah. Watch those bright blue lines that come out on that one side when it turns.
Yeah, but we're seeing both red and blue. Now, granted, we have to understand the colorization that we're seeing on this thing is coming from the camera itself. I believe Steve doesn't use his psionics. He uses equipment from Luna Optics. So we're getting this particular image to go ahead and come across in a bit more colorization than it normally would be in a natural aspect. I would say this object that we're seeing is not in the visual spectrum, meaning there's something going on in the sky that looks like this. There we go again.
Yeah,
that's
right
going on that this kind of stuff is going over the skies of Vegas. And this isn't pointing down towards downtown Vegas. This is at Steve's house, pointing away from Vegas, not towards Nellis Air Force Base or anywhere else. He's just pointing out towards the mountains. And this thing is showing up.
It reminds me of like a Doppler effect or something where the light switches
No, this isn't Doppler effect. This is something literally, you're almost seeing structure here, where you've got the leading edge of the craft, you've got it going back on an angle on a side here and a side here, and you have it going back on an angle on a side here going up to that one. It literally looks like a kite, but it's more like what do you want to call it? It's almost like the old 8-sided dice from Dungeons and Dragons. You know what this also reminds me of? This reminds me of the craft that was down in Texas. What was that one called? Where they had the diamond-shaped craft that killed several people from the radiation exposure.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't that the one with the two ladies in there?
Yeah, the old two ladies who had all the radiation burns and all this stuff.
Tom. Cash Landrum.
Cash Landrum, yes. This reminds me of Cash Landrum. Absolutely.
And also, sorry, I'm chipping in above. Sorry, Tia. I know you've got your hand up, love. But a couple of people, King Bull and Ginger, brought up in the chat that it looks very much like the object that Lou drew on the Joe Rogan show.
Right.
Which they're correct. He drew a diamond-shaped
kind of, yeah. So this is something that happened recently over Vegas. It's over on Anomalous. What's Steve's channel again, Harold?
Anomalous Vegas.
Anomalous Vegas. This is something that came in. It's just, when I saw this, it's just one of those things you look at, and this is the original video. Unmodified, anything. All I'm doing is just taking that video, doing a slight color correction to make the grays a little bit darker, to bring out the saturation of what you're seeing so you can see the colors and what's going on a little bit more in greater detail. Tia, you have your hand up, my dear lady.
That's absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. And the way that it's turning, like there's a something in the middle of it when it turns. It's like honestly, it looks like, to me, in my mind, it looks like sorry, cat, sorry, it looks like some sort of, like, I don't know, I'd say like a stage almost.
But it's almost, you can, I've got it right here, you're going to see it travel along this line right here, and then it's going to do a 90-degree turn and come towards Steve. So let's go ahead and rewind this a little bit again. You can the audience should be able to see it moving off the distance, that 90-degree sweep that it makes from up here, comes down and swoops towards Steve's house. Granted, we do have another object, could be a satellite or something moving in the distance beyond that, but this object is just, I've honestly...
And it looks like it reacts to it. See it when it goes by that other object, it lights up, like as if it knows it's there. See it?
Right there.
Yeah. And there's another one too. It looks something's interacting with it.
But either way, this thing is freaking huge.
Yeah, it is.
We're talking hundreds of feet, if not more.
It's beautiful too. Wow. And it looks like it's solid and translucent at the same time.
Well, it's hard to tell because of the optics, what's coming in. But I think as it gets to this point, what's happening is we're hitting the sweet spot for focus for the camera. So as it's coming in here, it's kind of out of focus. But as we get to this point right in here, as it passes through it, you're going to see it where it's really illuminating up and brightening up. And you can kind of see...
Look at that.
There's the object as it's coming across through it. And that's where we're getting that. Off to the side, off to here, going over to here and back again.
Whatever that is, I mean, that's... No, you can't deny that.
No.
It's amazing. That's amazing.
And after it comes out of it, we've got that blue kind of a spectrum as it continues to come forward. And then it's just kind of gone. But whatever this is, I've never seen anything like this before in the past. And it was moving slow. It was one of those things where it's coming down and then starts coming forward and goes down, and then it just goes out of view.
It's beautiful.
It's unique. And that's the thing that I like about some of the stuff that Steve's been bringing up. It's not like it's not the standard UFO video that people are faking all around the world. This is something that's different, something that hasn't been seen before.
Yeah,
Laurel,
that's
go
definitely
ahead.
true. I think it's gorgeous.
It was kind of interesting. I tipped my head sideways, so I actually looked at it from a different perspective. And what I thought of was this particular one, the old Scottish one that's going to be in James Fox's movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, which we did.
Not even,
remote view,
it'll
by the
be
way.
in James Fox's movie, but this is the one, oh God, what is it called again? Andy, what's it called? Do you have your hand up?
Calvine.
The Calvine UFO, yeah.
And I will say, you know, they say, oh, it's an island in, you know, but it's an island in a lake or something. I forget exactly where it was taken, but I believe there were no lakes in the vicinity. The image was purported to be taken. So yeah, unless the image was taken in a different area and they said it was taken here, you know, where they said it was, or was it actually taken? And I believe people have gone back and they found the fence line that you can see in the image, and they've actually taken a photo of the area from roughly the position that the photo was taken. There's no lakes there, there's no water, there's nothing to have an island in it. The image is clearly showing whatever this object was being up in the sky with the fighter plane, around it. Yeah, I only wish the two people who had taken the photo had come forward. I don't believe they ever did. But really interesting.
Yeah, it is. And I have to thank Harold for reminding me about this. That I had this, and it was something Steve called me on earlier this week, and I had him send me this video, the original video off of WeTransfer. The important thing about when you're sending a video over WeTransfer versus Google Drive, Google actually takes and re-encodes the video and recompresses it. When you said something through WeTransfer.com, that's WeTransfer.com, it takes the original file and sends it to you bit by bit in the original format without doing any mucking with the original video that we're seeing here. And what I like about this here is you can see it's a little bit further out, and I've got the video going, and it's from here you're seeing that same kind of a shape, but it's in more of a you're getting a little bit of the red coming in, but it's that same basic, you know, we're getting the same, you can kind of see that cross configuration that's coming out from the craft that we're seeing as it's coming up to the perfect point of focus. Again, I've never seen anything like this before. It's one of those things you scratch your head and say, hey, Lou, what the hell is this? Have you seen anything like this before?
Wow. Can I just say something as well? Yeah, when you first see the object and you say it's in a cruciform shape, it's in a shape of a cross. But yeah, then you've got what you're showing on screen at the moment. It actually then does appear to be diamond shape.
It's diamond shape. It's not cross shape. It's definitely diamond shape.
Yeah, the image, it grows out as it comes closer to the camera. Yeah, that red, but it's the horizontal piece of the cross that you see. Yeah, actually, it does grow out, and then it forms the solid shape that you see. I think that's a very good capture.
Yeah. Again, it's
unique. I have no
unique.
idea what the hell it is, but yeah,
it's one of those things we look at and you just say, what the hell are we looking at here? Seriously, folks. You know, to say this is just a normal plane, it's a satellite, it's anything. No, we haven't seen shit like this. I've never seen stuff like this in a UFO video before. And this is one of those things we just have to, and it's not a drone. Pink Floyd, it's not a drone. Would you agree with that, Andy?
I would definitely say I've never seen a drone that creates an image like that. Yeah, it's one of those that's really perplexing. You know, Yeah, you can see where it comes across, and that red moves, doesn't it? It moves from the left of whatever the object
Let me take it a
is.
frame at a time. I've got it zoomed up pretty well right now. Let me go ahead and take it a frame at a time, and you can see the craft as it illuminates going through it. Now, the colors that we're seeing here, Andy, could be based on the craft going through our atmosphere, exciting different elements in our atmosphere to give it the color we're seeing.
Yeah, when you sort of see the image, the red is on both sides, but it's very faint, and then it appears, for want of a better word, to wrap itself around the object, and then you see the object
right there
enlarge
as you're seeing the red right there, as you're saying. Now remember, colorization is coming from the device. It's taking light spectrum that we can see with our eyes, and it's putting into a color. Uh-oh, that's Moose. Sorry, Moose, what are you doing? Get off the keyboard. Moose.
Moose, stop it.
Moose was on the wireless keyboard. Sorry, everybody. He's doing his job.
Make me laugh.
So as we're going across, we're seeing the red. Now, the colors we're seeing are coming from the colorization of the device. It's not the real colors that we're seeing, but you can see that lighting that's happening as it goes around. It does illuminate the initial craft right there in this frame, and as we get into it, we start to see more colors as it moves along. This is where we start seeing it go from red to more of a greenish color.
Greenish gold, isn't it?
Yeah, green there, and then it's going to turn to blue.
Really interesting.
Oh, it's amazing.
That's one of the that's one that I hope Lou does get a chance to see.
It's like a rainbow.
Just watching.
Again, this is the kind of stuff we expect. We see the orbs, all these different things on a regular basis. When we start seeing things that are different, I get excited for obvious reasons. And we're not trying to spread misinformation and disinformation like Tupacabra, Red Panda Koala, LM are doing. We're here to bring out the truth no matter how we can find it. Right, Andy?
100%. You know, these are only my thoughts. They're not, they're not held by you or anybody else. And I would hope that some people agree with me. You know, I have no, I don't have a dog in the fight over this. You know, I've seen things. I'm on a journey to enlighten myself, to find out what the hell I've been seeing throughout my life. So I can only, I'm only saying what I'm seeing here, what everybody in chat is seeing. You can agree with me or disagree with me. I'm quite happy with that. I'm not going to, I know my country's going to the dogs and becoming very woke, but I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to shed a tear if people disagree with me. I think we're all on this journey together. We're all trying to learn. We're all trying to enlighten ourselves. And I do find that this is the best show for discussion. You can openly discuss your thoughts. And I hope people don't think I'm trying to push any kind of agenda, but I'm truly interested and I want to know.
I think we all want to know. That's what it comes down to. That's why we have Disclosure tonight, where we're trying to bring out the truth, find the answers to what's going on. And it's just part of the conversation that we're all going through on a regular basis, Andy.
Yep, 100%.
And
that's why I'm here. I wouldn't be here if I, if it wasn't bringing something to me. Trust me.
Yeah. Oh, I have an interesting one. Remember those aliens that we have, the alien mummies coming from Peru? This picture, and I just saw this one, was just like, oh God. So, there's a picture of an alien, potentially. There's a picture of the alien mummy that we had. And there's a picture of the aliens from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. How in the heck did Steven Spielberg get the mummy look exactly the same in his video for Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and that lines up to the mummies?
Pentagon. It has to be the Pentagon.
Someone, well, yeah, we know some people potentially gave it to him, but I'm just saying, look at how close this one is from Close Encounters of the Third Kind to the one that we've actually seen from out of Peru. And this is another one potentially from an alien video that we have coming from our government. It's the same entity again and again. So if you look at the stuff that's going down in Peru, I know Mike hasn't been that receptive to it. I'm just saying, if the glove fits, you must acquit. Most people in America. And Hollywood Herald, do you have your hand up?
There's a lot of conspiracy theories about going back on that and stuff, how he got the information and the idea for Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Somebody fed him some inside information from that Air Force base in California. I can't remember the name of the Air Force base, but this is supposedly based on a true story, right? They just moved the location. Yeah.
It's one of those things we have to take a look at and understand and just know that it's a cover-up, as Tim Burchett has said many times, Hollywood. Andy, go ahead.
Yeah, those the mummies. So they were either, there's two options with these, aren't there? There's Spielberg knew, what these entities actually look like. He either had a very lucky guess, or he knew what they looked like, or whoever created these mummies created them after the movie. Now, there's if they scientifically test these mummies and they find that they're 1,000 years old, then there's no way that they could have copied Spielberg. So
he knew something was given to him for him to know about this stuff, which means our United States government knows about these mummies, knows about about the entities that are mummified in this, and someone leaked that information to him saying, this is what they look like.
I hope one day he comes clean on truly comes
Stephen,
clean.
I hope so too.
What he knows, if he knows anything at all. I would love to, if it was all the flight of fantasy. It's a great movie. It's one of my most favorite films ever. It would be nice to know one day.
I have the director's cut here somewhere on one of my hard drives. Yes, I still have hard drives, because where else are you going to be able to get 14 to 20 terabytes of data space you can actually deal with? And I have 2 arrays of 4 discs each that are filled with data. On that note, I want to bring this out. There's actually a video that I've missed about LUE Elizondo on the news. This one is coming from NBC News. Gadi Schwartz speaks with former Pentagon insider LUE Elizondo about his new book, Eminent. Let's go ahead and bring this up, and let's have a good one. Video full. There we go. Let's go ahead and play this one for everybody. This one's going to go about for 9 minutes, everybody. Let's enjoy it while it lasts. Here we go. Got that there. Right here.
This video, you know exactly what people are going to start talking about, UFOs, and that is what this new book is all about. Imminent, inside the Pentagon's hunt for UFOs. But what you might not know is the guy who wrote this book is actually the guy behind those videos being declassified and released for the world to see. LUE Elizondo is a former high-ranking DoD insider who was so frustrated with what he says or attempts to cover up information about UFOs that he was the one that was working behind the scenes to get those images to the public in 2017. And in this new book, he's got stories that will make those videos look like nothing. And LUE Elizondo joins us now. LUE, thank you so much for being with us. You and I have been talking about this for years, and I got to say, our audience is pretty...
I have to deal with the colorization updates I made to deal with the video. Let's deal with this. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Lou's not Red Guy anymore.
Far ahead of the curve, so we can jump straight in. But there is a lot in this book that like immediately raised my eyebrows. Like, you never told me that you were trained as a remote viewer. That's like men who stare at goat style psychically trained spy stuff, right?
Well, you know, it certainly seems that way, but in reality, the U.S. government has a long history and affinity with basically any type of capability to spy or get the advantage on our adversaries. And remote viewing was actually started by one of my colleagues, Dr. Hal Puthoff, back in the late 60s and early 70s, using at the time, Stanford University with the CIA to actually create a psychic espionage program called the Stargate. Had other names as well before, but Stargate is perhaps the most famous name of that program.
And Lou, Stargate got shut down, and yet in your book you say that other countries are probably still using some of these psychic abilities, I guess for a lack of a better word there, and some of our trained soldiers, including you, were also are possibly using them. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. Even today in law enforcement, I know it sounds kind of kooky, but psychics have been used to a great deal of success. I think the issue, the rub here, is that when people say, you know, psychic espionage and whatnot, they think of the woo factor. But in reality, a lot of scientists now believe that capability is really part of the human consciousness, the brain aspect, which is maybe tied to quantum mechanics and frankly quantum entanglement. So we may not be talking about really anything science fiction, but really just advanced science fact.
I don't want to eat into the time on UFOs because that's also possibly the biggest existential question ever. In your book, you say you could write a book about remote viewing. So we're going to circle back. We'll have you on just to talk about all that. But let's just jump straight into some of the biggest things that stuck out from this book. You say one of the first conversations you had with Hal, you were told that Roswell was real and it was covered up, and there were 4 non-human bodies recovered from that crash. So if that happened, where are the bodies? Where is the craft? And how many more bodies and crafts do you think the government has?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the bodies were taken initially to a military installation, and then from there, it gets a little murky. A lot of people don't know that there were actually 2 crashes initially in 2 events that occurred in Roswell. And to put this on a very quick backdrop, Roswell is where we located our B-29 bombers that were specifically outfitted right after we dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki to carry an atom bomb. And it was one of the only air bases, frankly, in the world at the time where these aircraft were stationed. And we know that UAP have had an affinity both to our nuclear capabilities and our military capabilities.
I'm from New Mexico, so I grew up with this lore. And in your book, you kind of talk about the possibility that, you know, maybe these crashes were happening in New Mexico because of the beginning of the dawn of the nuclear age and EMP pulses, and maybe that messed with the craft. Is that right?
Yeah, so the current theory is that we were testing a particular device out there, and it happened to interfere with the propulsion units of these UAP. And
this is the first time we've heard this with regards to Roswell. Now, from what I've heard in the past, that potentially what happened was we were deploying Doppler radar for the first time and doing a test of that, and that actually is what interfered with the non-human intelligence craft, better known as UFOs. But potentially what we were doing was not Doppler radar, but was actually EMP pulses. And we have to realize and wonder, is this because not we were trying to do it, or were we trying to actively bring down these craft?
And again, I know it sounds crazy, but it appears that is exactly what happened. And the U.S. government, as a result, was able to recover one of these vehicles and hide it away.
Now, so much of this tracks with what David Grush testified to in front of Congress. Everybody was watching that. But then when we pressed him on specifics, other people have pressed him on specifics, he always says he can't provide them because they are classified, in Roswell in particular. But your book, you also had to go through a year-long DOD review process. But like, I got to ask, why didn't they redact the Roswell stuff or a lot of the other specifics from your book?
Yeah, you know, I can't tell you that's one of the reasons why I wrote the book, really, because once you write something, it becomes indelible, becomes part of the record. And I knew that because I hold a current security clearance, I'd have to go through the official review process, which almost took a year. That's a pretty long time. And even then, when I got the book back, there's still redactions. In fact, if you look at the book now, you will see blacked out areas that the government was not very happy with me discussing. And so
now, initially,
they thought
I
it was
have
too
to
sensitive.
bring this out. Initially, the blacked out areas, Lou had planned in the book to go ahead and point out who the blacked out areas specifically came from. This is something that never came to light, and I wish, honestly, it did, because it would have showed who is facilitating the cover-up.
But David Grush, I can tell you for a fact, he is 100% legitimate. I actually worked with him. I can't say specifically where, but we were colleagues. And what he is telling the American
you came out recently with Ross Coulthard saying you worked with him at Space Force. Come on.
People is only a fraction of what he actually knows.
Speaking of the Pentagon not being happy with some of the stuff that you've been talking about, the Pentagon has said they've looked into crash retrievals and under the office that they have right now, and they've found no substantiated evidence of any of this existing. When you see those statements coming out from the DoD right now, what's your reaction?
My statement is try harder. The bottom line is we know they're there, and we also know that the Pentagon never lies, right? Except for Pentagon Papers and Iran-Contra, and the list goes on and on.
No, what Lou brought up before was also the withdrawal from Afghanistan, and he's pulled that out. But I want to put that back in again.
The bottom line is that the U.S. government is very well aware of this since the end of the 40s and even during the 1940s, during World War II with the Foo Fighters, where our Allied pilots were actually encountering UFOs while in combat. So this is nothing new for the U.S. government. And people look at our program, ATIP and OSAP, and they say, well, that's the first program. It wasn't. There's a long succession of UFO programs, officially sanctioned UFO programs that the government has been involved with for decades. And I think that's something the American people should know.
And talking about what the American people should know and what's true and what's not, I mean, in your book, you were alleging that UAPs can hurt people, and you even describe reports of people being burned, people possibly dying, alien implants that have been removed from human bodies. Those are terrifying things to read about, and yet, what is the evidence?
So keep in mind that our program was really focused on military eyewitness accounts, military capabilities like gun camera footage and radar footage. We weren't really interested in the civilian data too much, at least not my effort. These anecdotes where grandma maybe saw some lights in the backyard, that wasn't our focus. We're talking about trained military observers with some of the best, most capable, sophisticated technologies that's out there, radar, gun camera footage, and other capabilities I really can't talk about, all collecting information at the same place, at the same time, under the same circumstances, saying that's a real thing. And by the way, it can outperform anything we have in our inventory.
And Lou, I got to say, if I was a government-trained spy that had possible psychic abilities and was able to remote view, and I was looking into all this stuff, like one of the first things I would probably do, especially even if I left the government, was to sit down, use whatever abilities I had to remote view myself into a UFO. Have you done that?
No, and frankly, I never said I was a good remote viewer. I was taught early on some techniques by one of the top Army's remote viewers, wonderful gentleman, very, very gifted. Sadly, I was not that gifted, but it turns out that a lot of people have that capability. And it's really, I think, once you talk to some of the scientists, you realize it's not paranormal like people suggest it is. It's probably just some sort of latent capability that humans have had for a very long time before we really were able to verbalize communication with one another, and it became very sophisticated. Dogs, for example, when they come across and they see each other, there's some sort of nonverbal communication, and some scientists are speculating maybe that's a form of, we call it psychic, but in reality, it's just a normal part of human interactions, and a lot of people can do it.
Lou, we didn't even get into the orbs that have been harassing you and your family. I mean, there's so much other stuff in this book. So I hope you'll be back on the show. We really do want to delve as deeply into this as we possibly can. But for now, Lou, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Gaddy, my honor and privilege, and thank you for doing what you do.
Yeah. What a great conversation. Holy cow. I just want to go ahead and bring that back. I'm sorry we missed this earlier in the week, but it's one of those things we have to go ahead and bring out as truth, as part of the record. It's something we fight for here at Disclosure Tonight. Granted, we have those people who are over on Twitter. You know, I'm talking about RPK, Tupa. We're talking about LM, who used to be a part of the show. Clearly, we're dealing with people who are psychologically damaged. And, you know, let it go in one ear and out the other. That's all I can say. Your thoughts, Andy?
Agree to disagree. Not with you, with anybody in here.
Yeah.
You know, we all have our opinions, and I have opinions that you probably don't agree with, and the same.
And that's part of Disclosure Tonight. We all have different ways we see things, but on certain things we align, and we all we want literally is the truth. Doesn't matter if you support Lou, you don't support Lou, you support Disclosure, you don't. The truth of the matter is we all want the same thing. We want the facts being brought out for all of us, right?
Right. Yeah, and to those people who slag off this show, if you want to slag us off, well, why are you watching us? You know?
Yeah.
You've obviously got, you know, not a lot going on in your lives. You know, I enjoy coming on here. It's something
I love having you here,
doing.
Andy. You know why? Yeah. Because you're coming from a different continent. You're coming from a different part of the world, and you bring reality to us from around the world, and that's what we need. It's not just a United States problem. It's something that's global, right?
I find this show absolutely phenomenal, with the fact that you allow anybody from chat. Anybody of you on chat, the link is in there. You're more than welcome to join us. That's how I started. I was a viewer.
Yeah.
And I linked, and everybody who's in the back with me, we were all in the same boat. You know, if you have a voice and you want to say what you want to say, you're more than welcome to come in here. You know, we're open to everybody. You know, we've had disagreements with individuals, and you'll always have that in life. You know, welcome to life. You know,
yeah.
We've got it going on in the UK. You know, people are all upset about, we say this, that, and the other. You know, me personally, you're not going to upset me. You know, you'll have to go a long way to upset me. I really don't care. But you know, it's the fact that this is the only show that has an open forum for people off the floor to come in the back and talk.
We try. I try so many.
Anywhere else.
You know, I'm one of the longest standing UFO shows out there on YouTube who brings out the truth, and I try my best to bring out the truth. And I admit, I'm an amateur. I'm not a professional. I try to do my best. Granted, the show looks some of the best video quality we've got anywhere on YouTube for what we're trying to bring forward. But the truth of the matter is, I'm a part of this. I've been a part of this since I've been like 5 years old. That's the only reason I'm here, because I want to bring forward and look to what's happening in the media to bring forward the truth, because you're a part of it, Andy. You've had many sightings. I've had many dealings with them my entire life. And the thing is, and I'm sure we've had this for many people in our audience.
Yeah, as I said earlier, you know, I'm an amateur. I do not have any expertise. I don't have a clue. I'm not scientifically minded. You know, I've seen things that through my life experience I can't quantify.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd love to know what the hell I'm seeing. Granted, it could be black technology. Personally, I find it very hard to believe that.
Oh, I do too.
But that's my opinion. But yeah, you know, the show is absolutely phenomenal. It gives people a chance, rather than just a talking head, a host who is talking at the viewers. you allow people like
I'm
me to
talking
come
with the
in.
viewers here, and that's what it's about. It's about breaking that third wall, bringing people in from the audience to be able to talk about stuff. And you were a viewer for a long time before you actually joined the back. And I am, the reason I'm having this show today, more than anybody, my friend, is because of you.
Oh, cheers,
That's
mate.
why I did the Saturday show, because I wanted to show the people of the United Kingdom we care. That it's not just the people in the United States, it's the people of the United Kingdom and people in Europe and around the world for that matter.
It's very hard for people like me to catch up with American shows. I know they've, I know in the slagging off, they've slagged off between you and Gary. I know that Gary can't stay up at the time of night that you normally broadcast.
He's actually up now, but that's fine. But, he's got a bunch of things that Gary deals with that makes Gary unique for the situation. He was a producer back at the time, and I call him a producer because he was helping, just like Mike is a producer. But LM, I just want to put that out there, was never a quote-unquote producer. He was someone who was just a guest on the show, and he brought in some intelligence, but clearly there's a lack of that from what we've been hearing from him lately. There's been so many lies and misinformation and actually, let's call it disinformation from what it is, from where he's purposely bringing out information that's not true, it's not factual, and he's spreading it like it's a fact. But you know what? I actually have to give this to Big Lou to go ahead, meaning Lou Jimenez, to go ahead and bring it out and saying what he's saying doesn't add up. He tries to say it's a fact, but truth of the matter is the guy needs help. I certainly hope that Lee reaches out and gets a mental health professional to help him deal with the situation that he's going with, because, this gets rid of me, from the ability in the back chat when he'd be going off. I'd have to go ahead and search old saggy tits and bring up pictures and show Lee to try and shut him up and to try and break him off. And yes, I did actually bring up those pictures and bring it up because he was so out of line and everything else, and he didn't belong into it. What's the old saying that you talk about kids? They don't play along with others. And that's just where Lee is. Unfortunately, I wish it was different, but you've seen some of the stuff. And a lot of people in our back chat right now have seen it, and I would hate to have to go ahead and kick anybody out, but when that person is being abusive towards women, which is hard enough to bring into disclosure, but being abusive towards women in the back chat, like going against Tia, going against Susan, it just doesn't belong. And I was bullied as a child, and I will never accept bullying, especially within my own domain. What's going on? If someone's being a bully, you know what? I'll give you a chance, but if you're going to do it again, get the fuck out.
And can I bring up, and Gary won't thank me for this, and I'm really sorry, Gary, but I've been on calls when you and me have been chatting, and Gary's running on the back when it's just us two. And I never seen you falling out with Gary. I've always seen, actually, I know you love the guy an awful lot. And I've seen you do things that, are really
Here's the thing. I am very liberal with titles. Meaning if someone wants to say they're helping out in some respect, I'll call them a producer. But the reality of it, since Disclosure Tonight has been going on, Andy, I've been the producer of Disclosure Tonight. Granted, but honestly, Mike has helped a lot with interviews and other stuff in the producer realm, which we didn't have in the past. Mike has helped out. I said, Mike, if you want the title of producer, take it, my friend. But when it comes down to the day-to-day conversation of what we're handling here in Disclosure Tonight, majority of it, like today, is all coming from here. But it's not coming from here. It's coming from my heart, because I understand with so many people out there, Andy.
Yeah, I've experienced talking to you off studio, off camera.
Yeah.
Before a show, Thomas has said to me, you did it last night. oh, if you're about coming back, you know, when I'm on my break, I've spent time when Thomas wasn't airing. You know, if I'm available and Thomas is about, we'll chat. You know, and I've never ever had you be disrespectful or anything like that to me.
Yeah.
And that to me means an awful lot. I class you as a friend. I've never met you in person. I probably never will, unfortunately. But
you never know. Life is too short. We might meet before we die, and I think we will. I may have to make it back to the United Kingdom one day.
Cookout, mate. You know, seeing your barbecues. I want to come over. You know, if I ever get the money and the passport, I'm over for a cookout with Thomas Fessler because, boy, his barbecues look absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, anyway, that's enough for me. But yeah, I just wanted to counter all the bullshit that's been spread.
Bullshittery is more like it, Andy.
Bullshittery, yeah. You know, from my personal experience, don't believe a word of that bullshit that's been spread.
But if I could say this, majority of the people are giving us bullshittery. I could say, sit on this and rotate, and they'd say, yes, absolutely.
End of the day, you know, you say you're an amateur. Well, they're no more experts than you are, Thomas. So we're all in the same boat.
I appreciate it. You know what? From an amateur, I do have some of the best video looking on YouTube, so I can't complain. It's because of who I am.
Never make me look any better, but you look absolutely phenomenal, my friend.
Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I appreciate your kind words and understanding for what we try to do here at Disclosure tonight. You're a part of it, and you are part of the conversation for the UK, and that's why we have the Saturday shows on that front. Would you look at that? We've had almost 2 hours getting to this, and we've had such a great time getting to this show. More importantly, is Mocha... No, Mocha. Mocha is trying to kick in here and say, I want more cookies. I want to thank everybody for your wonderful support of Disclosure tonight, because we wouldn't be where we're at if it wasn't for the people who are actually going ahead and giving us super chats. More importantly, I want to thank the people who have given us super chats for tonight. Let me see if I can bring it up here. Oh, no, not that one. Or is it here? I have a link here somewhere I can bring up and say and thank the people for the super chats they've given us tonight. Oh, where's it at? Where's Google? Where's Chrome? Chrome, where are you? Where's the window from Social Stream dashboard? Oh, there we go. I'm going to thank the people for the wonderful super chats tonight. That would include, what we're talking about, we got FaZe Will for a super chat for $9.99 and another super chat from FaZe Will for $4.99. I want to thank everybody for your wonderful love and support of everything Disclosure tonight. More importantly, I want to thank the friends who have been part of the conversation tonight in the chat, because the chat is where it's at. I want to thank Ann Joanne, Andy W, Avi M, Brendan England, Brian Pemble. Brian, we miss you tonight. Craig Williams has been around, along with David Williams, Digger Dog. Where's Bones, my friend? Eric Roth and the Gurus, Evan B, Fink Ployd, Flastix, Ginger, Heiser Soze, J-Cat, Kathy, King Bull, Kelly Broten, Piercing Blue Eyes. We miss you, Kelly. Where are you tonight? Metal Gaming, Mick, On the Rise, Reality Check VIP, Shelly Montgomery, Terrence Wills, Tia Loreno, The Truth Seeker, and Watching Vids 1.4. How about that? What a great show. What a great time and an opportunity to spend a Saturday with the people I truly adore. Thank you for being here, Andy. I wouldn't be the same without you, my friend.
My absolute pleasure. And I you know, barring any unforeseen circumstances, I'm not going anywhere. Oh, and I've been asked to ask about 4. Yeah. So we'll have a speak.
You better believe it. I also want to thank Hollywood. Thanks for coming out tonight, my friend. And thank you for reminding me about Stephen Barone's video. That was phenomenal.
Yeah, my bad there, Thomas. I was waiting for that last half hour for you to get into it and stuff.
Oh, we got into it, didn't we?
Yeah.
That was amazing. I've never seen a video like this before. I don't think anybody's seen a video like this before, except on Stephen Barone's channel. But I'm just saying, holy, wow.
What day was that from? I'm trying to look through his archives.
Earlier this week.
Download it. When was it?
Yeah, earlier this week, about 4 days ago, give or take.
I want to download it and look at it a lot.
I will help. I will send the original one to you, my friend.
All right, cool.
Also
Good
want to
show
thank
tonight.
Laura Campbell. Thanks for coming out and sharing your pictures before the show with those gigantic, ginormous crystals you have, Laura.
That was cool.
My pleasure. I'd like to also bring some wonderful video footage of objects that I'd have to get permission because they don't belong
Please
to me.
Please do, and I also have to thank you for Sloppy Saturdays.
It's a thing now.
Thank you very much for coming out, my friend. I also want to thank Faye as well. Thank you for your super chats tonight, my friend. It went a long ways, honestly.
Hell yeah. Thomas, awesome show.
Thank you, sir. Also, Sarah, thanks for showing up earlier and being a host initially before the show started, letting the people in the back, my friend.
Oh, no, it was my pleasure. It was a great show tonight.
Keep the syrup pouring out of Barney's nose.
There you go.
Thank you for coming out. And Tia Loreno, thanks for coming out tonight, Tia.
Oh, I wouldn't miss it. You know I'm here.
Oh, you better believe it, my dear lady. And as we usually say at the end of every episode of Disclosure tonight, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everyone. But
go back to Party City where you belong.
You better believe it. Good night, everybody. Love you. Y'all come back now. See you on Monday. Bye-bye.